Hey all, welcome to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. My name is Kurt. Tonight we're going to discuss my 5 favorite Scotch whiskeys of 2021. Now, I want to be perfectly clear about this video. As I've said before, our Scotch selection in my area is just horrific. It's really, really bad. It's so hard for me to find different Scotch bottles. Just even actually, case in point, I was looking for an Allan 10 year for a month and I still can't find it. It's just not here. Every once in a while Trent and I'll get up to Chicago and it's a little bit better, but it's just still not that great. So what I really want you to pay attention to, some of these bottles are 2020 releases. I just want to say that up front. But what I tried to do in putting this video together is that I took all the bottles that were most recommended over the last several months by all of you out there that I was able to purchase and that I absolutely love. These 5 are my favorite additions to SLB Basement Bourbon Bar in 2021. Before we get to that, I just want to say a massive thank you to each and every one of you. I'm just shocked and amazed. We clipped over that 20,000 subscriber mark and we're just climbing. We're climbing from there. I'm literally amazed. Thank you so much. Now, with that, as we promised, there will be a live show coming up soon. Trenton's working on it. He'll get a schedule and he'll give me a date here before too long. But I promise you it will be before the end of this year, so in the next several weeks. Keep tuned for that because I promise you there's going to be some giveaways that you've never seen in any other YouTube channel. I'm just promising you. There's going to be some awesome stuff in that video. We're going to be tasting some bourbons. We might do anything, whatever you guys or whoever's watching. We might even mix up a cocktail or two. It doesn't matter. We're just going to have a whole lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. Lastly, real quick, if you haven't seen our Patreon page, it's brand new. Trent worked really hard on that. He's got a lot of cool stuff in there. And if you'd like to support our channel, we'd be greatly appreciated for that. Take a look at that. See if you're interested in helping us with that, and we can't say thank you enough. Enough with all that stuff. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about today, and that's Scotch whiskey, man. I mean, I'm knee deep into Scotch whiskey. I'm really loving it. I'm really getting into a lot of the comments and so many things that I've learned from each and every one of you. The very first bottle that I want to show you tonight, recommended many times to me. Loch Lomond 18 year. Loch Lomond 18 year run me about $85. It is a Highland whiskey and it is 92 proof. It is non-chill filtered and it is natural color. It's aged in barrels of unspecified origin other than oak for 18 years. Now, the main reason that I really wanted to include this bottle, it is very tasty. It's very good, but a lot of you recommended to me that this is an excellent buy because it's an 18-year Scotch whiskey, and for the price, I mean, for only about 85 bucks, it's a phenomenal buy. I mean, this particular bottle, it comes at you with a little bit of green fruit, maybe a little bit of green apple, but then it gets into a little bit of a honey and a toffee tone, but it also has a mature oak tone to it as well. So this bottle is a tad bit oaky, but I didn't find it offensive at all. I really didn't. It is present, it is there, but it's very tasty. And then it finishes off with just a hint of peat and smoke. An extremely enjoyable pour. Excellent. Moving on to the next one. Another bottle that you guys have recommended many times. Aberlour. Whoops, sorry, Trent. Aberlour, 16 year. This particular release from Aberlour run me about 60 bucks. It's a Speyside whiskey and it comes in at 80 proof. It's been aged in ex-bourbon casks and Oloroso sherry butts. This particular Aberlour 16 is a 2020 release, but that's all I could find. Honestly, that's all I could find. I was doing some research. This one is 80 proof. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe the more current releases are running a little bit higher proof at 86, and I really, really wish I could have found that, but I couldn't. So I really wanted to get this because I do have some other Aberlour bottles that are just great. They're just fantastic, and I'll tell you what, this one did not disappoint at all. This is an extremely full-bodied whiskey. It's sweet. It has some plum flavors, a little bit of vanilla, and just a slight toasted oak in the background there too. And it's just fabulous. What a fabulous whiskey. Thanks so much for this recommendation. This was just fantastic. Next in line, I've got to put it out there, Springbank 12-year cask strength. This Springbank 12-year cask strength cost me $130, and it comes in at 114 proof. It is non-chill filtered in natural color, aged in ex-bourbon casks and ex-sherry casks. Now, we had this particular bottle on the bar top in a different show not that long ago, but I had to bring it up. I purchased this, I don't know when did we find this? A couple months ago? Something like a couple months ago, but man, it was recommended a lot of times. It's a little bit hot, it's a little bit peppery up front, but once you get past that, I mean, there's just waves and waves of toffee and caramel, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful pour. And what I found too, from also some of your recommendations, I poured just a little bit of water in that, and man, it tones down the heat just a touch, but it elevates all those flavors even that much more. What a wonderful, wonderful drinking experience, and what a wonderful pour. Springbank 12 cask strength. Moving on to the next one. I had to do it. I did. I had to include a peated whiskey, and today I have the Laphroaig Cargis finished in port and wine casks. Now, I realize this is the 2020 release, but it is new to the bar, and I absolutely love this bottle. I believe the 2021 release is finished in PX sherry casks, and if I can see that somewhere, if I find it, I'm definitely going to try that one as well. But I wanted you to see this one. This is just a fabulous, fabulous whiskey. This Laphroaig single malt is a marriage of classic Laphroaig whiskey rested in second fill ruby port barriques, along with whiskey double matured in ex-bourbon barrels, followed by ex-red wine casks. I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this, because for me, this particular pour is like a real journey. I mean, it really, really is. It hits you right up front with a real fruity note, like a berry compote of sorts. But then right after that, you really get into that classic Laphroaig whiskey with some cinnamon clove, maybe some black pepper, something like that. But the classic Laphroaig whiskey. And of course, it finishes up with the signature medicinal smoke that you get with Laphroaig. And to me, it really, really takes you down a wonderful and a beautiful journey. I love it. I think it's fantastic. All right, moving on to the last one. Last but not least, Glen 12-year. This Glen 12-year cost me about $60. It is a Speyside whiskey, and it comes in about 92 proof. It has natural color, and it is non-chill filtered. This 12-year single malt was aged for 12 years in a combination of virgin American white oak, PX sherry casks, and Oloroso sherry casks. By far, and I truly mean by far, this particular Glen 12 was recommended to me in the comments more than anything else, any other Scotch. So many of you said, you got to get it, you got to get it, you got to get it, you're going to love it, you got to get it. And by golly, I found it. I found it when I was on a business trip in Arizona. I bought it, packed it up, brought it back up, and I'll tell you what, y'all were not wrong. It did not disappoint. This particular whiskey, this Glen 12 is extremely thick and viscous, almost to the point of syrupy. And it opens up with some chocolate, and it follows suit with some gentle oak, and it finishes up with like a grapey jam note to it too. It's a real beautiful, soft, luxurious whiskey. Now I will say this, it is a little bit on the sweeter side. So if sweet Scotch is really not your thing, it may not be your thing. But for me, man, I was all over this. This is just a beautiful, beautiful, and a wonderful pour. Thank you for recommending this to me. This has been undoubtedly my favorite addition to SLB for Scotch whiskeys in 2021. Hey, that's all we have for you today. I had an outstanding time going over my favorite additions of 2021 Scotch here at SLB Basement Bourbon Bar. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're new to the channel, you want to join in on some of this fun, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly, and then we'll see you next time right down here with me in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.